be many times in that city.
I was in Vegas. There was an attempted murder. It was murdering my soul.
When literally 8 out of 10 billboards that you see are lawyers of different kinds trying to make sure that like best lawyer for injuredatahotel.com, and just not like literally every single billboard is a lawyer. You're like, okay.
Well, welcome to the podcast, everybody. It's Monday morning.
It's a beautiful sunny day out there.
No, dude, that's just 3 minutes of riffage.
Oh yeah, no, we weren't on the mic.
We weren't even recording.
Got
No,
you.
we were just talking about Jared's beautiful weekend,
I see.
drinking beautiful
Living his
coffee and
best
beautiful
life,
food.
Playing like a champion.
Yeah, dude. Play hard, no excuses.
Best part was definitely Public Us, so shout out to them.
Public Us. Ooh, I got a couple coffee shout outs already to start this bad boy off. I was in Paso Robles, and went to Chris's place.
Yeah.
They used to work here.
Yeah.
Used to roast coffee here.
Yep.
Common Grounds. They use our coffee now. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. How was it?
It was rad.
It was uncommon, am I
It was
right?
it was uncommonly good. No, it was sick. I didn't know, because he had partnered with he was working for another company, and then I think he was part owner in that company, and then they ended up separating. So he has this spot in Paso Market Walk, and I was staying right above it. They have a few lofts right there. So I go down to get coffee, and he's just there, and he's wearing his Cat and Cloud sweatshirt, and they got our coffee in the hopper, and it was awesome. He was so
awesome.
stoked, and we were just talking about his business and the market down there, both the physical market we were in, and then the coffee market, and how people, it's a different demographic than here.
Well, it's like, I feel like the wine market there has really been growing over the last like 5-7 years.
For sure. Yeah. And then Jared was saying too, the food and drink starting to catch up, the other avenues of food and drink. But yeah, it was just cool to see him. It was cool to see these people who used to work for us, and they're doing their own thing in the wild. He seems really happy. He's obviously working a lot, but he's just, I don't know, he's pumped.
Doing the thing that the solo cafe owner does.
Yeah. And he's open at 6 a.m., which we had a conversation
that,
about.
don't you?
I did like that. I went there, got up at 6, wandered down the stairs, had a little Gibraltar at, 6:15, 6:30. Dude, it was great.
Jeez.
Shit, it was great. Other announcement. So Specialty Coffee Association Annual Expo is coming up.
Yes, it is.
It's in Texas this year, April 25th to 27th. We're going to have a crew there. So there's going to be 8 people from Cat and Cloud going. We're currently working on our schedule. So once we get that schedule all figured out,
we will let you know.
We'll let you know where we're going to be, what booths we're going to be at, how we're going to be playing and partying, etc. And then I do have one solid event detail. So Cafe Imports is hosting a green buying panel breakfast on Saturday, April 26th, 8:30 to 10:30. So they basically have 4 green buyers from different companies, and they're
Really awesome lineup.
Oh yeah, here I'll tell you the lineup right now. We got Omar and Piero from Cafe Imports, Susan Heller Evanson from Atlas, and Charlie Habiger. Charlie, dude, shout out to Charlie from Royal. So that whole crew is essentially going to be fielding questions about, anything anybody wants to know about green buying. So I'm going to be moderating the panel, and I'm working on setting up a app or a page where people can write in questions, and then people can upvote or downvote questions, because I think it's going to be too wild to fit live fire audience Q&A into just this 2-hour time window. It's just going to be inefficient.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking at this app. It's like Slido or Slido. I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, it seems really simple. I did a little beta test last week. So once I get that set up, we'll put a link to that, and we'll put a link to the Eventbrite in the description of this podcast. So you can sign up and go. They'll have breakfast tacos, and you can eat breakfast. They'll have a coffee service, drink coffee, and listen to people talk about green buying, all people who have been in the industry for a long time. Yeah. And I really like how they're doing it, where it's not just the Cafe Imports people talking. You've got people from other companies, so you get this full perspective on the green coffee market.
Everybody will be there but me.
Chuck has a running conflict.
running disagreements with the SCA,
Yeah,
SCA
somebody-
involving when my daughter was born.
Somebody in your life on the other side has AI and is like, when is SCA? We're going to make sure we move this event around so that Chuck cannot go.
Yeah. And we actually moved SCA. SCA was moved, and then something else moved.
Oh yeah, it's my
right?
daughter.
So you're just screwed no matter
That's what
when
I'm
it
saying.
moves. Yeah, it's over.
They're looking ahead.
Yeah, no one cares.
They're in with
I know.
SCA.
Everybody wants you to fail, dude. It's
Someday.
just, it is what it is.
I know.
But yeah, we'll keep you up to date on that, and we'll be filming it and recording it. So if you can't go, which I'm sure a lot of you can't, if you're not in the industry, it doesn't make sense, you'll be able to hear it on this podcast.
If Houston,
That's cool.
Texas is not on your daily
If
commute,
you're not really trying to go to Houston, Texas for a few days and spend a couple $1,000 to geek out on coffee, which maybe you should, I don't know. Understandable. We'll be here. We'll be here for you.
Be there.
We'll be there.
like Friends, the show.
Will wrote in a
Good one.
response
Sick segue.
from our episode a few weeks ago. He was asking about moving jobs. He's in the UK.
Yeah, he responded.
Yeah, he responded. He said, I just listened to the podcast where you answered my question, and I wanted to inform you that things have progressed a lot. He's working in the busier shop, got an opportunity to move to a cafe and roastery in the heart of the countryside, Northumberland, UK. I don't even know what that means, dude.
Beautiful country out there.
Beautiful country. Can't wait to visit. And he says it's a bit of a dream job. He's going to be working in the cafes 5 days and doing a little extra hours in the roastery. And he sees it as a career starter.
That sounds right.
He'll be on minimum wage. And he asks, what do you say is the best way to progress? Do I show interest in being a manager? Do I push to be a roastery assistant? Do I take a share of the business if it's ever possible? And, Will's just following up like a professional. So,
Where do you progress?
yeah,
You just outlast everyone else.
that's okay. Yeah.
That's
Outwit,
what
outplay, outlast.
yeah.
It's like Survivor.
Keep going on this. This is a good Chuckism.
Yeah. It's like this is something I believe from different companies that I've worked at or seen people work at. Is honestly there is a lot of transient nature to people in the coffee business, and it's not for everyone. And there's a lot of people that try it out and it's not for them. And it's like my sincere belief that if I know a lot of people want to be at the top in 6 months or a year, but it is really realistic that if you're doing a great job consistently 2, 3, 5 years, by that time it's like I believe like a lot of the people whose heart isn't in it have moved on by then. And then if you love it and that's what you're doing, it's like you find yourself at the top.
Right.
And that's been my experience.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I mean, with engagement, right? If you're engaged and you're trying to do a good job and you're learning along the way, that probably is the truth. And then it's like, I guess he'll find out if he really wants to be there as he goes along as well, because that's part of it too, right? You don't necessarily know. It's like when he asks, where do I want to go next? It's always a great
and I guess-
question. But a lot of people think, right? They were like, oh, I should go into the roastery. And then they go and they're like, I don't actually like that
a
work.
big part of that though is that can you find out relatively early that you're aligned with the ownership, right? Because again, it's like oftentimes the business's values come from the owner's personal values, or they should, right? And then those values are being lived out, and then it's like, are you in line with the business's values? And it's like, if all that lines up, then maybe that's the place you want to invest in those 5 years. But it's like, that's kind of what I think is that being somewhere in like 3 to 5 years, you're going to outlast all the other people. You just have to make sure that's the place you want to be for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like a really good point, because I think you could progress no matter what, but if you decide to allow yourself, you're going to learn either way. So I guess that's the win. No matter what, you are going to learn as like the person. If you did stay and you were staying essentially against your personal values and you were kind of in conflict the whole time, you probably still will be learning, but you might not feel so great about your life.
Yeah,
so
that
that's
might not be
something to
the
pay attention
best
to.
use of your time to spend 5 years somewhere and then be like, oh, actually, these guys are assholes.
Yeah, or just or totally like you're good. Yeah, there is a win-win there in a lot of different ways, but it could lead to some challenging moments.
Right,
I'd say you're still coming
ideally,
out. Yeah,
right.
probably towards the top of somewhere. But that is the potential conflict is just pay attention to how you feel along the way and then how much you're resonating with the progression
Yeah.
internally. Because I do believe there are people who they want something so bad that they're also like sacrificing their personal values and how they feel about themselves. And they are still progressing and getting somewhere, but they're doing it by way of sometimes being either passive or being taken advantage of or whatever that case may be. It doesn't sound like that's what we're talking about at all here, so that's good news.
No, but
it is definitely a way where people are like, well, I have to bend over backwards to get to the top.
And it's not everywhere that is just an awesome place to work with owners who really want to grow and develop people and want to provide opportunity for people, right?
Totally.
So it's like all those things have to be at a company, and then it's like, so I'll caveat it with like, and then I think it's just a matter of outlasting people in some regard.
Yeah, outlast, work hard,
Yeah.
apply yourself. It's just, yeah. I think
let's also throw in, hopefully that outlast doesn't mean that you're not also getting better, and outlast just means like
No,
the company is still the same, and like you're just still here, like. And I don't think you're saying that at all. You know what I'm saying? But like, hopefully the company, you are personally progressing in some sort of knowledge base and skill set and etc. It's not just like, well, yeah, they're the next best option, and we're the same company we were 10 years ago. We haven't done anything, and you're there.
You'll definitely be at the top.
yeah, but then you'll definitely be at the top even faster, right?
Exactly.
If the company's stagnant, you will run up through those ranks way quicker,
Yeah.
and then you'll be there, and then you can use that to leverage whatever
Maybe into something
is
else.
next for you. If you're
Those are the worst.
If you want to be a roaster, and then you are able to be a roaster by, you're working at a company for a couple years. Maybe the company doesn't have an awesome trajectory, but maybe they have some sort of notoriety, or at least they're, thriving in whatever market they're in, and you can get into that zone. And then all of a sudden you have coffee roasting experience. That could be a quicker path than showing up at a bigger company with hundreds of people and, a whole slew of people who want to roast coffee, and all of a sudden you're last in line. I
Absolutely.
think some of the magic is being there at the right time to either outlasting or being there at the right time to quickly leverage your position and be able to
Right, and a
grow
lot of
up
that is
quicker.
like work. Like it's very easy for me or us, like to see the people that are working harder than other people who have like a dial on what the values are,
Right.
who are living the mission every day, and who are working really hard. It's really easy to see those people stand out
They stand out for
at
sure.
any company.
Yeah, there's
it's like-
engagement levels.
So it's like be that person, and you're gonna stand out. And
Yeah.
just make sure that's where you want to be.
I think that's very good insight.
Yeah, be useful.
Yeah, I mean, that's for real. Another
Be
thing
useful.
is like the more, that's something, for someone that works, it's like the more that you can take off of my plate, right? Like the more value you bring to whoever your leader is, it's like that leader is going to want you, is going to need you and then want you to hopefully progress and take on more and more things, right?
Yeah, that's how I see it. It's like people I want to work with are people who are kind of intrinsically hard workers. Some people are more wired at that than others, I feel like. Some people enjoy that more. They're willing to figure things out without it completely being spelled out for you.
Yep.
Because if I have to do everything for you or tell you how to do everything and then you go do it, I might as well just do it myself. So it's like, can you take the lead and figure stuff out, going into the unknown without everything written out for you? And then, just generally being helpful. There's this balance of, especially in a growing companies or smaller companies, any given position, it's not, I don't know, I've never worked at a big corporate company, but job descriptions have a little bit more leeway in a smaller place, to where it's like it's rare that you would just be able to do one thing and one thing only. You're kind of,
Have multiple hats.
you can have multiple hats and you wear them at different times, and it's not super consistent, but being able to be flexible with that and enjoying that is also super useful as well. So, yeah,
Get out there, man.
you can get out there. You can kind of do whatever you want.
Glad it's progressing, Will. Glad it's progressing for you.
Will
Keep on the path.
Will's killing it. So
That was your follow up. Nice.
that was a follow up. And
Beautiful.
then we're just rolling,
We have
bro.
more great things coming in.
Well, that's not even the big question of the week. The big question of the week is from Reezy. Reezy resells. If you want to learn how to resell things on Amazon,
Man.
he's the guy. He wants to know where we see Cat and Cloud in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years.
Oh, he's interviewing us.
What would you like the legacy of Cat and Cloud to be, or how the legacy is perceived?
Legacy.
Wow, he was just sitting there thinking
He's just thinking about
Thinking
us.
big thoughts.
Did he write in?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. This
You
guy
think
is.
he wrote it in, or did he have AI do it?
I'll generate a question for the
Yeah.
Cat and Cloud podcast.
Question about the
These are
future.
good questions. It's almost easier I think, to talk about mission and impact than it is to talk specific in that regard.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's something that we're always working on. I know that we're working on even right now, right? Because it's like we've
True.
kind of, we've kind of achieved the original vision, operationally at least, in what we set out to do. And so now is the work to kind of like what's the next journey? Like, what's the next path that we want to be on?
Yeah. Some of the things that I immediately think of that don't really have, they're legacy things, but they don't necessarily have anything to do with 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I think about the conversations that we were having when we were opening this company and really focusing on the service aspect of it, the hospitality aspect of it, the employee experience aspect of it, workplace culture, all of those things that were in addition to creating awesome coffee, like sourcing and roasting awesome and delicious, interesting coffees. And as far as big picture legacy, I would just love to see more organizations focus on those things and, completely detached from Cat and Cloud. But as a consumer, when I'm walking through the world, what I want is more awesome experiences. I want to go to more places where I feel like my time and my money are valued. I want to go into places with people that are energized and excited and make me smile and create memories for me that I remember. And I want to do that not just at one or two places. I want to do that everywhere. I don't want to go to any dinners and be like, I spent $100 and that was fine. Or go into a cafe and, get a pastry and a coffee and I spent $15 and that was fine. And then, every once in a while you have something magical. You come here, or you go to Disney or one of the other places that does the things that we do. It's just like, I just want more people to do that. If we can create a world where people understand that it's achievable is part of it. Because I remember some of the blowback we got originally was like, I don't know, that's just like fluffy
Too idealistic.
shit. It's idealistic. You're going to start working and then the real world's going to kick in, bro, and you're just going to have to survive in business. And to let people know that it's not you have to survive in business and then you can do these things. These things are awesome, and they're actually a really good strategy for surviving in business. Especially in industries like ours. Like, the economy is really an experience-based economy. Everything that we thought was special is just becoming more normal, and that's regardless of the industry. So latte art's a great example. If you rewind 10 years ago, 15 years ago, even just getting latte art felt really special and it was super rare and that was a big market differentiator. But on all of those product-based things, like skill-based things, people are going to catch up. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, they got Smart Steam ones now. So then it really comes down to being able to pour the art now. I mean, anybody can get there quicker.
Yeah.
They're going to figure that out.
So it's like, how are you making people feel when they walk through your doors? That is the bigger challenge. And I think it's more rewarding, and it's just more challenging too.
I agree. I mean, it's more challenging. I think it's all about, I think it is about the ideals and trying to figure out, like, I think the genius is finding a way to engage them and put them into action and turn them into actionable items. That to me is where you start figuring out how have that rubber meet the road. And that's where our work, I think, is. We have a set of mission and values that make a lot of sense. I want to make sure that we're helping people by way of if they work with and for us, which has always been on the table, in some regard. And then having those experiences translate externally and give people feelings. I mean, it's in our mission. They're all connected to feelings, memories, and it's all through experience. I just spoke to the Downtown Business Association about that on Friday, and I genuinely believe it. And that's where the work comes into play, because the economy does what it does, and then it kind of forces you to try to figure out how to be business savvy while either proving or not that the thing that you believe in and you set out to do matters and works. And that's where I think the genius of being an entrepreneur, well, the genius is the wrong word, but the challenge of, can you put your personal, genius into making that work? That's where it all lays out to be. So I feel like that's the challenge that I'm personally looking at, figuring out how to deliver consistently forever in some regard. Helping people to understand that it's possible, though, to your point, is, I think, a big part of it. And I think even trying to find ways to show people that it's possible so that they, like, connecting those dots, I feel like is the part of the work, too, for people. Because I genuinely believe that's challenging. I mean, I know that's challenging. I think there's a lot of great businesses out there that just don't have enough people who believe or find their way to connect those dots. And that is hard work. I very much could understand that. Not everybody thinks the same way.
Yeah. Got anything on that, Chuckers?
No, I mean, I go back to what you said, like the way that you differentiate yourself is experience based, and it's can you provide like a memorable experience for every guest that comes in to whatever kind of business you have, because a lot of products are similar in nature. It's like that's what people are going to remember is the experience. That's what I remember is the experience I have in that. And then that's, like you said, I think that is going to be the way that I think more and more businesses should be looking at how to be successful. It's not competing on like a low price or this product or that product. It's hopefully, I hope it becomes like competing on the basis of who can provide the best experience. And again, like from a legacy point of view, I think that would be a really awesome world to live in.
Have you guys seen that Mike Tyson video with the little girl?
No. I haven't seen many Mike Tyson videos.
I don't know where this came from. It's older, but it just popped up somewhere. And it's this little girl. She's probably in elementary school or something. And she's interviewing him. And she asks him what he wants his legacy to be. And he just goes on this riff about, he's like, who cares? I'm going to be dead. We're all going to be dead. No one's going to remember anything. Why would you want people to remember you when you're gone? It doesn't make any sense. Just like
the anti-legacy.
He just smokes the whole idea of a legacy. And it's pretty funny. She's just standing there holding the microphone, baffled. He's like, oh my gosh. It's pretty good. Yeah. I'm excited about that, Yeah.
I mean, it's all about experiences, man. I went to Vegas to eat a bunch of food, and that's, you start figuring out that all the places try to look nice and all the places try to look a certain way, and the people interaction is almost the same everywhere. And so that after that, you're like, what was my favorite thing that I ate? It's like you go to the Epic Food Court with Hattie B's and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The place looks sick. I wish more places look like that. But every experience is basically the same experience, and then you just like, what was the best thing that I put in my mouth from those places? That's the only difference. Like Hattie B's was fine,
right? I mean, nobody there is like differentiating on experience,
but I mean, it's David Chang's Momofuku Papa. I mean, it is these people who are like famous in food. Lardo is a famous Michelin star chef's food, and that was my favorite bite of all those things. Hattie B's they got famous because of something, right? It wasn't just product.
And it's like, and then there's this. It's like they got famous doing something really well.
Yeah.
And then they made something in Vegas. Like nobody.
But that's my point.
Nobody is known for what they created in Vegas. Vegas is like a museum of like famous restaurateurs who like then create something that's not as good as everything else they created and just have it sit in Vegas.
Isn't that my point?
Maybe I'm just reinforcing it.
No, that's like yeah. You're reinforcing it in a way where it almost sounds like that's like their point, and that's why I'm like, that's so dumb. Like you're supposed to take it to the place where it's like, and then make it be that experience so
No,
that it's
I
like a
think
shining light.
Vegas is just like a marketing arm for like people that are already successful.
Well, it's the same thing with entertainers, right? If you have someone who has had a really epic, stellar career, and then they'll do their residency in Vegas.
Yeah.
Nobody gets made in Vegas, like
No,
you're saying.
Katy Perry, shout out.
Katy Perry, get it, girl.
Katy Perry though, that's different. You're giving somebody feelings through your songs you're singing.
It was I had a great experience.
Yeah, I was gonna say if
Taking my
that's
daughter
an
to
art,
Katy
that's like
Perry
an art
in Las
delivered. So is
Vegas.
food. So is the experience. That's why I'm
I
like.
just think it's different for the restaurants. I've never seen anyone
But
create.
isn't that the whole point of why we're talking about having ideals? Is like that you don't sell yourself out and you still work on those ideals in those places.
Well,
I just
depending on
don't
who
think
you
they
are,
do.
you know, you guys are having slightly different takes on the same thing. So I think Charles agrees with everything you're saying, but he's saying that's not what Vegas is for. For those people in Vegas, the whole point of them being there is simply to exist in Vegas, and that's it.
Right. So
Right.
you're saying that
I'm saying nobody
if-
creates something new in Vegas that people
Sure.
are
At
like,
least not
wow,
on the
this is
Strip.
amazing,
Yeah.
and it was born on the Strip in Las Vegas.
totally. I guess that's what you want though, or to see. That's what I want to see.
That's what you would like to see, but I think
that's
that
what
is-
makes something unique and special.
Yeah,
don't you
I
think?
just-
But
no,
yeah,
I-
you're just saying
I
like
would
Vegas isn't the
agree.
place for that.
That's about right.
That's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
You're maybe in the whole wrong town to begin with to get
Well.
what you want. Is
Yeah.
right. You're in Pinocchio's Pleasure Island.
You're in like
No,
idea-
that's what Vegas is.
And then
you're
yeah,
saying
that's,
Vegas
that's
is
what
Pinocchio's
Vegas is.
Pleasure.
You're in
Yeah.
Pinocchio's Pleasure Island, and you can't find what you want because it's just not a great place for you. And
it's
you're
not.
out.
Right, that's fair. But I think isn't that one of the places that you want to try to be in so that you can show some people, and then you do that, and that's where you like go to bat to showcase that something is valuable
I think.
in terms of ideas.
I mean, I think possibly.
Eventually. No, you
possibly
can't do that
yes.
to start, no
that,
fucking way.
It would be killer. But then there's. I don't go to Vegas so much, so I'm.
Well,
you know.
neither do I.
I'm,
so
sta-
I
I'm
couldn't-
stereotyping here for sure, but there's, the last time I was in Vegas, we're in the casino, and there's some chick who's 70 years old, chain smoking, just pulling the lever at this machine.
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm just
not a
like,
values-based
80%
location.
of the clientele, that's your clientele right there. So-
No, I hear what you're saying. It's not a values-based location. Nobody's going in there thinking like, yeah, they're going in of like, what is the experience? As long as there's a ROI immediately seen on this, and we're gonna make a shit ton of money, we'll put it in there. So I see what you're saying.
But it does seem like you could go
That seems like an opportunity.
way over the top with something like a Club 33, or what's that other one in Disneyland?
Yeah, 1901.
You can book it there. It's 10 grand or 20 grand or
Well, that's Club 33.
no, it's not. It's
You mean over on the California side?
no, it's above Pirates. I'd never heard about it.
Oh, that's just a yeah, the Dream Suite.
No,
That's above Pirates. Where you
okay.
can stay the night,
It's a
the room.
dang no. Maybe it's not above Pirates. It's a different dining experience. I don't know. We looked into it. Jenny looked into it, and they're like, yeah, so it's 15 grand, and we're okay.
pass.
That's a strong one, yeah. Different than 33 and not on the California side? Yeah, and new world for me. I don't know.
Oh, you
The Dream Suite.
What's
It's a
that?
whole-
It's got to be the Dream Suite.
not it.
It's the old art museum that's over Pirates of the Caribbean. You could
a
stay
room
there.
you could lick in and you like eat on the veranda, maybe.
It's got a
And, like,
certain name that I'm not
Maybe they've changed the name for it, but that's what it used to be
finding.
called.
Maybe they changed the name for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an old room and they've got all the things.
Now I
and you
just
can
want to know.
be on the throne. Well, I mean, even that, they have speakeasies. It's like there's a barber shop right when you walk into the Cosmopolitan. That's a real barber shop, but then the door goes to a place where you go see shows, or there's the whatever donkey.
Standard shows.
You probably potentially. Some of them are not actually. Some of them are pretty ridiculous. But yeah, and then it's like the something donkey, the shadow donkey, the place that you and I walked into, right?
Little
mezcal
tequila bar,
speakeasies
mezcal
thingy.
place.
I actually think that's a fun and smart idea. Yeah, there was another place that I think it was Caesar's Palace where it's true. There's like a bigger than a door-sized painting of a captain at a place in a ship, and you can pull open the door. But the thing is they're speakeasies that are also advertised as speakeasies. So it's like, are you here for the speakeasy? And like the whole concept of the speakeasy is that you get to walk through something that looks like it's not there, and then it's like even right in front of it is a sign. When you and I went, that for basketball camp, whenever it was 5-6 years ago, there was no signs, and there was just like there was a picture on a door, and then you can walk through. But now it's like I went to go check it out, and it wasn't open. So there's a sign in front of the door, and it's like open, and it's like the hours are there. So it's like if it's open, they'll pull that away, and it is. But it's like still kind of advertised, so you can totally stumble upon it because you're sitting next to it eating.
Yeah.
But I think that's a fun idea to be able to create those little one-off experiences that I'm sure they're doing well. Like
I found it.
What's it called now?
21 Royal.
That's maybe the address of the place. I don't know.
It's just called 21 Royal. Dude, you guys are both wrong. It's fine. It's just be wrong.
21
it's okay.
Royal.
So we just wrote in. It's like 21 Royal. We essentially host a dinner party in the way we feel Walt and Lillian would have in today's day. Theme of the evening is set around storytelling. Yada 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 yada. The cost of the experience is $18,000. That's all inclusive. So you can bring your whole dinner party.
It's all inclusive.
That means all your food and all your drinks for
how
only
many
$18,000.
Like
you can bring 12 people. 12
People?
people. So you're paying a little over a rack per person.
Yeah, it's in the same place. It's
Yeah,
Look,
so it's
just let it lie, bro.
$1,500.
It's called 21 Royal. Nobody claimed that, all right?
No, I never even heard of it.
Just hit the block, fool. It's time to go home. Oh, but also you get complimentary valet parking and you receive a one-day pass. So
Park hopper
So
tickets.
$1,500.
Park hopper tickets.
Valet parking at the Grand.
Yeah, it's like $1,200 to $1,500. You get a park hopper, valet, and a dinner.
It includes taxes and gratuities, so you don't have to worry about that either.
You don't have to tip. You're like figuring out the percentage on that. Our tip is $800.
And a rental of the apartment for 5 hours. So it's basically personalized Club 33 7-course meal
Yeah.
with a wine pairing.
Which I think that's one of that. So that feels like something that could exist in
Good golly.
Vegas that's experience based. And Disney's really good at that. Is even just going to the park is a good experience. And then they have all these other experiences if you want to feel more exclusive for essentially every spending level that you could imagine.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, they've moved. The Dream Suite's called 21 Royal now.
Look, guys, just let it go.
Until 2022, dude. That's when it changed. Interesting. What a world. 15. It used to be 15 grand, guys. They raised the price.
Uh-oh.
Inflation.
It's been inflated. Wow, dude. Different world. That's scary.
Yeah. It's almost doable.
It's only 5 hours.
What are you talking about?
Wait.
18 grand
think
for
about
5
it.
hours?
$1,000.
18 grand.
For 5 hours? And
Oh,
up
wait,
to 12 people?
what is that actual math?
What,
$1,500. It is $1,500.
Yeah.
So $1,500. Yeah, you would just have to get a group of 12 people who just want to blow a
Or you
couple
could
grand.
go buy a car.
Or
Well, not by yourself. $1,500 bucks. You're
if
not
you
buying
have
anything.
12, if you have
Like
12
that.
people, you're not. Each person is spending, $1,500.
It's just an expensive 5 hours.
It's an expensive 5
I mean, you do get a
hours.
park hopper ticket, so I guess you could technically say that's, if you were
Right,
going to
how
go
much is
anyways.
that? $300?
No, like 2 and change, but still, maybe up to 3,
We'll call it
depending on the day.
$250.
It's a
Because
scale.
then
Probably
you're only
like a
paying
$1,000 dinner.
$12.50 for dinner.
You're only paying
No, but it's
$12.50.
probably like $1,000 dinner plus like the gratuity plus the ticket.
Yeah.
Right? It's like $1,000 dinner.
So you just need 12 friends who all want to spend $1,000 on dinner.
Jeez Louise.
See you-
Michael's in already. I can
See
tell.
you there.
He's
never.
down. Kira's ready. Weiser's he's not sure about it.
Yeah.
We're going right now.
You do you'd have to have some expendable money. Like
And he's
big
all, where are the
time.
groceries? I'm like, we don't have groceries, okay?
This month.
But let me tell you what we are going to do.
We don't have groceries or rent. But what we did have
We're
was
going to
5
have
unbelievable hours.
Unforgettable.
There was a
You do get to see something
sommelier.
nobody gets to
Memorable.
see. So it'd be like for the collectors in the world, because that room you can't get into any other way.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's easy to probably do that. I bet you it's booked up, and they only offer a certain amount of
They have Walt and Lily's bodies
Yeah, dude.
cryogenically frozen.
AI
the room.
generated
AI
talking.
into his brain. He's all got a
Yeah,
little
dude, let him know.
mustache. Yeah, man.
Hey everyone, that's the podcast for the week. Thanks so much for listening. If you heard something that inspired you, or if you heard something that gave you more questions than answers, send us an email to podcast@catandcloud.com. And if you're looking to know more about us, then head to our website at catandcloud.com, where you can find everything we have to offer. A great place to start would be The Answer, our house coffee that's right for any occasion. Or the Best Friends Blend, a coffee that tastes just as good as the good it does by donating $1 per pound back to our partnering producers. Also, if you're feeling extra friendly, connect with us in the usual places, like YouTube, Instagram, pretty much everywhere that's hip. All right, that's it. Thanks for being awesome, everyone, and we'll be back next week.